Good morning and welcome to Central Virginia's Service Academy Day with Congressman McEachin and Congresswoman Spanberger's office. My name is Scott Bella and I am the Service Academy Coordinator for Congressman McEachin's office and your host today. Today I have with me Christy Black from Congresswoman Spanberger's office. And right now I want to introduce our Service Academy panel that I will be presenting today. Today from the United States Military Academy, we have Mr. Beryl Love. Ensign Kahata Patia from the United States Naval Academy, Lieutenant Jones from the United States Air Force Academy, Lieutenant Commander Wheeler and Midshipman Cummings from the United States Merchant Marine Academy, and Lieutenant J.G. Thomas from the United States Coast Guard Academy. Today's event begins with a word from our respective offices, followed by each of our offices' basic requirements for submitting applications. Each of our panelists will then present a briefing on their respective academies. They will describe their experience while attending and what you can expect if you are admitted. Throughout the session, you will be able to ask questions using the chat function, and our panelists will do their best to answer them all. Right now, we're going to have a word from Congressman McEachin and Congresswoman Spanberger.
Welcome to this year's Fall Service Academy Day. I'm Donald McEachin, and I have the privilege of representing Virginia's 4th Congressional District, and I'm excited to be hosting this Academy Day along with my good friend and colleague, Abigail Spanberger. First thing I'd like to say to you is how proud I am of you taking this first step towards serving your country. You know, as a congressperson, one of the things I get to do is nominate young people for these academies. I'm always encouraged by the quality of these young folks that we get to nominate and the possibilities and the promise that they bring to America's future. You ought to know that your parents are mighty proud of you too. And it's not just because they'll get 4 years of free tuition, but it's because they're seeing in you the culmination of all the parental investments that they've made in you over these years. We want you to sit back and listen to these presentations. We want you to ask questions. And then we look forward to getting your applications as you apply to be the next generation of America's leaders. Thank you. Enjoy your day.
Welcome. I am delighted to join Congressman McEachin for this joint 4th District and 7th District Virtual Service Academy Day event. Although we would have preferred to have this information session in person, we are providing the Service Academy presentations virtually this cycle with the hope that we can resume in-person events very, very soon. One of the greatest honors I have as your representative in the U.S. House of Representatives is nominating outstanding young women and men as candidates to the U.S. Military, Naval, Air Force, and Merchant Marines Academy. The number of applicants, the caliber of students, and the dedication to excellence has been remarkable each of the last 2 nomination cycles, and I'm sure this year's applicants will be equally impressive, and our team looks forward to engaging with Virginia students throughout the process. I'd like to thank the representatives from each of the service academies for joining us in this presentation. Your time and expertise are greatly appreciated. Thank you to the parents who are helping their students navigate the college application process, and thank you for encouraging your student towards a path of service. Most importantly, I'd like to thank the students here today for their interest in the U.S. Service Academies and for pursuing a career of service to our country. I'm inspired by your desire to serve at such a young age and to explore the possibilities that exist within our nation's service academies. Generally speaking, application to a service academy is a 2-tiered process, applying directly to the academy as well as pursuing a congressional nomination. Applicants must meet the academy admissions requirements and receive a nomination in order to be offered an appointment at the academy. The one exception is the U.S. Coast Guard Academy, which does not require a congressional nomination. Virginia's 7th District congressional nomination process is incredibly competitive each year. We receive a large number of highly qualified applicants, so students should submit the most competitive application possible for consideration. Our Service Academy Advisory Board, individuals from the community, veterans, and academy grads themselves, a mix of all, then review each of the application materials and interviews. They interview each student as part of the nominating process, and I thank them for volunteering their time as board members. I thank them for their their time and certainly for their service that they are rendering in interviewing and reviewing all of the applications for students across Central Virginia. This step is only the first step in a longer process, but I commend each of you for considering the choice to dedicate yourself, for considering the possibility to dedicate yourself to our nation's highest calling, service. It is a true testament to your character. Members of our teams and representatives from the various service academies will now go over the details of the nomination process and important dates. The most important for our office being the application submission deadline, which is 5 p.m. on October 1st. I thank you so much for your participation in this year's nomination cycle, and I look forward to receiving your applications.
As you can see, Congressman McEachin and Congresswoman Spanberger are both excited to see your interest in attending our prestigious military academies. Ms. Christy Black will now go over her office's requirements for the nomination process.
Hi, thank you. I'm Christy Black, District Director for Congresswoman Spanberger. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we really look forward to working with you on this process. I'll go ahead and share some information with you so that we can give you our information for our requirements on this, on the application process. Okay. Like I said, I'm the district director. I also work closely with Sean Meredith on our team, who will be a point of contact for you along the way. If you contact our office, you'll work with several of us. One of the most important things is eligibility. In order to receive a nomination, you need to be at least 17 years old, but no older than 23, a US citizen, unmarried, not pregnant, or without legal obligation to support dependents. You must reside within the 7th district and meet medical, physical, and academic requirements of the academies. For the application process, your first step is to go online to our website at spanberger.house.gov. You'll put in some information and we will send you the application packet along with questions and answers and general information about what to expect. You complete your application packet and submit it to our office, including a current photo, high school transcripts, ACT or SAT results, an essay stating why you would like to attend the academy, the completed packet, and a minimum of 2 letters of recommendation. Important information for our application process, as the Congresswoman mentioned, October 1st is our deadline. Those completed applications must be received by our Glen Allen office no later than 5 p.m. You are welcome to send your packet to us through the mail. Please note that postmarks are not, it has to be received, not just postmarked by that date. You are also welcome to drop it off in person. We have someone at our office that will be happy to take those packets from you. And again, it is October 1st. We always recommend you submit those packets as early as possible. After the applications are received, we review all of the applications and then we schedule for interviews. Those will take place mostly mid-November, could move into early December. As the Congresswoman mentioned, we have an advisory board that does those interviews. And the applications are viewed on a whole person evaluation. So we really are looking at all of the information provided, such as academics, activities that you did outside of school. We also have a notification deadline of January 31st. So we would like to notify you as soon as possible so that you can plan, but we will provide nomination feedback to you by the end of January next year. And then at that point, for those that are nominated, you'll receive academy appointments if you are selected to attend the academy. Some reminders or tips for our office. Again, the district is highly competitive, so we ask that you submit as strong of an application as possible. Another suggestion is to provide us with your first choice and second choice academies. So in the event that we could not provide you with a nomination for your first choice, we might be able to provide one for your second choice. Again, submit those packets as early as possible. I highly recommend not waiting until 5 p.m. on the 1st, because if there's any issues, if something's missing, we need to clarify, we're happy to reach out and contact you and work with you throughout that process. You can call our Glen Allen office with any questions. That number is 804-401-4110. And again, I encourage you, if you have any questions, if you're having any challenges, you need assistance, please give us a call. We are always more than happy to help applicants because we want you to have a strong application, and we really are there as a resource for you. So don't hesitate to call us for any questions that you may have. Again, thank you so much. We are so excited to receive these applications, and best of luck to everyone.
Thank you so much, Ms. Black. I'll now go over the requirements for our offices for the 4th Congressional Districts. First, everything you need to complete the packet. The application is located on McEachin.house.gov under the tab VA 04 programs, entitled the hyperlink under Service Academy nomination. On this page, we'll have more of the most up-to-date current information regarding our application process, including a checklist that will help guide you through completing your application packet. When online, input your personal information as requested, and it will generate a completed application. Mail it to our district office in Richmond, preferably. And what a completed packet looks like is first our signed completed application, a current photo no larger than 5x7, a sealed official transcript with a signature across the seal, your official SAT, ACT scores, a resume, a 500-word or less essay stating why you want to attend a military academy, a maximum of 3 letters of recommendation, at least 1 from a school official and 1 that is not affiliated with the school system. Our address for the office in Richmond is 110 North Robinson Suite, 403 Richmond, Virginia, 23220. It is important to note that our application deadline has been extended to October 29th of this year. Your packet must be complete and mailed to the office by that date to be considered for an academy nomination. The timeline is pretty tight, as you can see from there. Once your packet is reviewed and found to be competitive, you will be notified for an online virtual interview, which will take place early in December. Again, October 29th is our new deadline to receive those applications. And just like Ms. Black said, this is a very competitive process. Please put in more than just your top choice for your military academy that you want to attend. So at least having 2 options is better than just having 1 option, because quite often these are very competitive slots and we only have a certain number of them. And we want you to get the best chance that you can at attending a military academy and getting the best education that you can, and most importantly, being able to serve and give back to us, our country. Thank you so much for looking at that. If you have any questions, please reach out to our office at 757-942-6050. Thank you so much. And right now we're going to turn it over to the academy process for Mr. Barrel, and he will go over the overview of kind of the general requirements for going into the academy. And we'll have that followed by the Naval Academy, the Air Force, Merchant Marine, and then Coast Guard.
Okay, thank you, Scott. I'm Barolo, the United States Military Academy mission representative for congressional districts 1 through 4. I just want to kind of do an overview before I talk about some specific West Point information. If you want to serve your country and you want a top-notch college education without the debt from student loans, the top 5 U.S. military service academies are really worth a look, and we're pleased that you're here academies include the U.S. Military Academy, which is Army, located at West Point, New York, the U.S. Air Force Academy, located in Colorado Springs, Colorado, the Coast Guard Academy, located at New London, Connecticut, the U.S. Naval Academy, located at Annapolis, Maryland, and the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, also located at New York, at Kings Point. The Air Force Academy, the U.S. Military Academy, and the Naval Academy every year have about 11 to 14,000 applications that are opened. And ultimately, they make about 11 to 1,200 offers of admission. The U.S. Coast Guard Academy and the Merchant Marine Academy have substantially less, and I'll let my colleagues speak to those numbers when they make their remarks. All 5 academies continually work on improving their respective numbers for female and minority candidates, cadets, and midshipmen. The percentages range from 20 to 38% for women and for 24 to 37% for minorities. Currently, West Point's class has 23% women and 37% minorities. And I'm sure my colleagues can address their respective schools' numbers during their briefs. Again, if you want to serve your country, which is key, and be a leader, you can accomplish that goal by attending any of the 5 academies, and you will actually increase your chances of receiving an offer of admissions by applying to more than one of the academies. Much of the application process is very similar at all 5 schools. They'll all require your SAT, ACT scores, and so that's just a matter of putting the correct code for those schools in your paperwork. They all require a medical exam, and that is given by the Department of Defense Medical Examination Review Board and is shared with any of the academies that you would be applying. Formulating your thoughts as to why you want to serve, and that information as you provide each of the schools can certainly be very on point, and you need to develop that really well in advance, but can be shared with all of the schools. And it's been mentioned, all but the Coast Guard require nomination, and you handle that by informing your various senators and representatives, the Vice President's office, during the nomination process, indicating if I'm fortunate to receive a nomination, I would like it to be for this specific academy. And in that, you can spread your opportunities for an appointment across several. In the case of the U.S. Military Academy, the Naval Academy, and the Air Force, it goes from around 14,000 applications down to a pool of those who are qualified, roughly between 4,000 and 5,000. By qualified, we're talking again medically, physically, and academically. And so now you're in more than one competitive pool, which is again where you would like to be if you truly want to serve your country. All academies come with a minimum of 5 years of active duty and some additional reserve time. Active duty service commitments can also be affected by postgraduate training, such as medical or flight training, which would add to your active duty commitment. And I believe if you receive an offer from the Merchant Marine Academy, your commitment could be longer if you select to serve in the maritime industry versus a commission in one of the other branches. But again, I'm sure Lieutenant Commander Wheeler can speak to that. If accepted, you'll receive a completely free education, including room and board, hands-on training, great benefits, and you will even be getting a paycheck while you're in college. Getting into the academies isn't easy. Accepted students must rank in the top 20 to 30% of their high school graduating class. And all but the Coast Guard, as indicated, must have a nomination from one of your senators, congressional representative, the Vice President or President's office. In general, a typical day at the academies includes some mix of classes, military training, athletic participation, and study periods. And each of the academies have summer programs for students. They may vary according to the academy, but all opportunities for high school students, they all offer opportunities for high school students to experience the academies. All of the academies have small classes, typically 15 to 18. And the point here is you can't hide, and you'll be guaranteed the assistance with your professors to help you succeed. Days are long, typically from 5:30 till midnight. As for what the academies are looking for, they're very similar in the essentials that they want, and that's good grades, good test scores, leadership experiences, physical fitness, community service, and a desire to serve your country. And now let me address some remarks that apply specifically to West Point, and I'll bring up some slides. All right, we'll cover several things. I'm not going to dwell on all of them, but again, West Point is about developing and educating, training, and inspiring Corps of Cadets so that each graduate is commissioned leader of character, committed to the values of duty, honor, country, and prepared for a career of professional excellence and service to the nation as an officer in the United States Military Academy. And as I indicated, you will receive tuition, books and fees, room and board, medical care, dental care, and a monthly stipend. West Point, we believe, is a preeminent academic institution for leader development. And you'll see by a couple of the national publications, Princeton Review and the U.S. News, West Point most accessible professors, best college library, best classroom experience, best health services, good counseling services, and the best civil engineering program. West Point was the first U.S. military academy, formed in 1802, basically as an engineering school, and they've continued that and have offered additional many majors. When you graduate, you'll receive a commission to serve as an officer and a leader in the U.S. Army, and yep, 100% job placement. Starting salary in the range of $58,000 to $68,000, including housing and food allowances, and that varies by location. These are the many branch opportunities that are given upon graduation, and it's important to note here, out of 11 or 1,200 students that would be graduating on any given year in commission, you get to select your branch by your class rank. So if you're the top, you get your first choice. And if you're near the bottom of the rank, you'll be getting basically those that are left. A beautiful campus on the Hudson River, about 50 miles north of New York City. Just a legacy of leadership. West Point graduates have included people from Douglas MacArthur, President Eisenhower. Many of you may have heard the name of Mike Krzyzewski, coach of Duke. So many leaders throughout the years. A cadet, basically 4 years. Each of the academies have various names that they refer to, the freshmen through seniors. And at West Point, it's plebe, yearling, cow, and first team. Typical day, 5:05:20 it says, which is AM through the end of the day. And what you'll see there is class and study time early in the day, athletics. Every cadet is an athlete, and into the personal time for studies near the end of the day. Again, small class sizes. 30% of the professors are civilian, 20% permanently assigned active duty, and the other half are military officers that rotate in and out on 2 to 3 year assignments. And there's a list of the current 36 academic majors. And this information is also available, as Mr. Barlow mentioned, will be taped, but also visiting the actual USMA website. A quick look, a scan of the 4-year academic journey. Basically, the first 2 years are the core curriculum that focus on becoming a leader, and the 3rd and 4th years into your major coursework. And of course, included in there 4 summers of intercession with military training. Quick look, NCAA sports, men's and women's, club sports. Again, all cadets are athletes at some level. Here is the kind of 4-year military summer journey. The first 6 weeks, cadet basic training, the second summer cadet field training, and then the third and fourth advanced opportunities, including semesters abroad, internships, and military qualification schools. The steps to admission, these are important, perhaps one of the most important slide that I'll be talking about, and that is when you sit down to take the pre-candidate questionnaire. You'll do that by going to usma.edu/admissions, and you need to have with you your social security number, know your congressional district, high school information, share if you participate in athletics, share if you participate in leadership, know your academic interests, and provide your PSAT, SAT, and or ACT test scores. If all of that passes profile look, then West Point would be opening up a personal portal for you, we refer to as the second step kit, which is the actual application. This is a quick overview of what West Point refers to as the whole candidate concept. And it's 60% academics, 30% leadership, and 10% physical fitness, in addition to the medical qualification and receiving a nomination. The 60% academics is basically your SAT, ACT scores and the GPA. I would point out here that since SAT no longer has the writing portion, you need to be very careful when you're writing your personal essay because it will be scrutinized very closely, not only on content, but your writing ability. 30% leadership, again, those are things that you're doing currently in school, opportunities, JR2C, youth, community, church, etc. And then the CFA, candidate fitness assessment, is an actual 6-event test. There it's talking about passing the medical by April 15th of your senior year, although the application deadline to have it complete is January 31st. The reason that there's a delay in April 15th, if you lag on getting your application totally complete, you're going to be scheduled late for a medical, and if it gets into the point where you need additional information, you may run out of time. So it's a point for completing your application as quickly as possible. You heard about this on our previous presenters from the congressional offices. And here's the real key slide. Be proactive and complete the application early. You can open up your application from January 15th. It should be the spring of your junior year, 15 January through March. And when you open your application, you can also apply for the summer leadership experience at that time. And you need to train, practice, and practice before taking the candidate fitness assessment. At the end of the day, if you and another candidate are the last ones that they need to fill a class, and all things being equal, you're very similar in academics, you're medically qualified, etc. It could be the difference from how you score on your candidate fitness assessment. You don't want to just go through the application process checking a box. You need to think about everything you do and send forward has got to be your very best. And before you apply, ask yourself, are you a leader? Are you mentally tough? Are you physically fit? Are you ready for the challenge? And are you interested in a career as an Army officer? I mentioned the summer leadership experiences. You can apply for those no later than the end of March. And again, you should do it when you open a file, your pre-candidate file. There are 2 classes, 500 each, 1 week experience at the Academy. If you get accepted for the summer leadership experience, it's not a guarantee that you'll subsequently get an appointment. And conversely, if you apply for the SLE and are not accepted, that does not mean that you will not be able to file a complete application and be selected and receive an appointment ultimately. There is just some of the places you can track West Point. And again, we'll deal with questions later, but I think that's it. Again, my contact information is lovebw169@gmail.com or 240-832-7768. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Love. Now we're going to have Ensign Kahatapatia from the United States Naval Academy give you his experiences about joining the during his tenure during the United States Naval Academy, and now that he is an ensign, he's going to kind of tell you his experiences. Go ahead.
Thank you for that. So my name is Ensign Ramesh Kahatapatia. Can everyone hear me okay? First of all, just thumbs up from the panelists. All right. So a little bit about myself. I was a recruited athlete. I grew up in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Was a recruited athlete. I played on the varsity tennis team at USNA. I was a political science major, and this past May graduated and commissioned into the surface warfare community. So we can go ahead and get started with the brief here. So who are we? The United States Naval Academy. By the numbers, we have a 8-to-1 student-faculty ratio, almost a 90% graduation rate, $0 tuition cost, 100% post-graduation employment, and we offer 26 academic majors. So first and foremost, we call our campus the Yard, and we call our student body the Brigade of Midshipmen. The student body being the brigade and every student being called a midshipman. The Yard's located in Annapolis, Maryland, and is 25 miles away from Baltimore and DC. The brigade services that we offer, the barbershop, midshipman store, laundry, post office, medical and dental are all offered to every single midshipman at our school. Are actually also located in our dormitory. The Brigade of Midshipmen has midshipmen from all 50 states, stemming from many diverse cultural heritages. We even have prior enlisted sailors and Marines in the brigade, and it breaks down to about 71% male, 29% female, totaling to 4,500 roughly midshipmen. So here's what we offer. First, we have education, undergraduate and commissioning program into the Navy and Marine Corps. It's a 4-year program. Everyone graduates with a Bachelor of Science degree, and that is because of our core curriculum. Every midshipman also receives a monthly stipend valued around $1,100. Benefits also include a full scholarship covering everything. You also get an issued personal laptop, textbooks, and everything you need for school. A career after, so everyone will serve a minimum of 5-year commitment as an officer in either the Navy or Marine Corps, and also one of those community pathways that you see at the bottom. So like I said earlier, I'm a surface warfare officer or SWO, but any of these are options for all midshipmen. We offer 26 majors broken down into 3 schools: School of Engineering and Weapons, School of Math and Science, and Humanities and Social Sciences. And we also have those 7 languages as minors. So every midshipman will compete in a sport at the Naval Academy. We have 3 levels. First, varsity, we compete at Division I level. We have club, which is just as competitive, and they travel just as much, 18 teams. And then if you do not choose to do one of those 2, you'll do what's called a intramural sport, which is kind of a less serious environment, and you play like pickup basketball, kind of like a less serious environment with other classmates in the brigade. So here's a look at the application process. So on the left, the candidate side, submitting a preliminary application, personal data record statement, candidate fitness assessment, which is how you physically qualify, submitting extracurricular activities, so everything they're involved in and out of school. We want to know those things. Blue and gold officer interview, and then that nomination application. The high school side, they'll have a math and English teacher evaluation submitted from either their junior or senior year. Their counselor will verify their extracurricular activities that they mark on their application. submit their candidate academic information as well as their high school transcript. So here's a diagram of the admissions process. So submitting a preliminary application will then make you an official candidate. From there, your application will go through an admissions board. You'll have to physically qualify. So like I said, the candidate fitness assessment, medically qualify, passing that medical exam with the Department of Defense, and then obtaining a nomination from the source that you choose. This, making it through these steps will make you eligible to compete for an appointment to USMA. And as Mr. Love was saying in his presentation, you're competing with the different or a very smaller group of individuals. So as you can see, the preliminary application, we have roughly 16,000 people submit that, but only about 3,400 competing for an appointment to USNA. So getting to that point is a very crucial part in getting into the Naval Academy. And when the Naval Academy wants to offer you a spot at the Naval Academy, they'll either A, give you a fully qualified offer of appointment, which is given to roughly 1,100 kids, or if they deem your application as competitive, but they feel that you might need an extra calculus class or chemistry class, they'll choose to send you to the Naval Academy Preparatory School located in Newport, Rhode Island, or a foundation program in one of the 16 prep schools across the nation. Common misconception with this is that you cannot actually apply to these separately. It is a decision made completely by the admissions board themselves. So you have to apply directly to the Naval Academy, and it is a decision made by the admissions board whether or not to go to the preparatory school or a foundation program. So summer programs at our school are a great way for high schoolers to have a hands-on experience with the Naval Academy. First, we have the STEM program, exposes rising 9th, 10th, and 11th graders to the possibility of a STEM career. That application opens this coming January. It's taught by professors and midshipmen in USNA facilities, and it's 6 days long. Then we also have the Naval Academy Summer Seminar, which is for rising seniors only, and that is one of the best ways to experience life as a midshipman prior to going there. And that application also opens this coming January. Not a requirement to attend USNA. We actually have about 2,500 rising seniors that end up attending the summer seminar. So here's just some general advice for admissions. We want to have candidates with a strong foundation in math and science, so algebra, geometry, trigonometry, pre-calc and calculus, and chemistry and physics. We do not have a minimum GPA to get in. We do keep saying strive to be in the top 20% of your high school class. Take your SAT and ACT early and often. There's no minimum, and we ask that you send all the scores. We do super score. AP honors IB courses are encouraged, but not a requirement. And we're also looking for well-rounded individuals who can demonstrate leadership potential and are also active in and out of school in athletic and non-athletic activities. So here are just top 5 reasons to go Navy. 1, full scholarship, and you're also getting paid every single month while you're there. 2, guaranteed employment after. Job security is very important, and having a guaranteed career after is a great bonus. 3, location. Annapolis has a lot of academic incentives close by, so master's degree programs, internships. Having Baltimore and DC allows us to have those opportunities for midshipmen and graduates. 4, leadership and character development is part of our curriculum. And then 5, a 90% graduation rate. So most everyone that shows up on induction day actually makes it through and graduates and becomes an officer. So that pretty much concludes my brief. Here's just a page with some social media, the admissions team, but that concludes my brief. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Ensign. Now we're going to have Lieutenant Jones from United States Air Force Academy do his briefing.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Second Lieutenant Costa Jones. Just graduated from class of 2021. And I would like to say every time I get to do one of these, it is also actually an honor for me to be able to speak about the awesome opportunities of a lifestyle that the Air Force Academy was able to afford me. So to begin with, I would like to start with a very short video of what the Air Force Academy is all about.
There's nothing average about the Air Force Academy or those who come here.
It takes more than smarts and good grades.
It takes grit.
It's for the I never quit students. The relentless, persevering, most likely to keep trying until I reach my best students.
Because we will go on to lead others, push boundaries, save lives, and represent American ideals.
If you've got what it takes, prove it.
Awesome. So with that being said, just a little bit more about me. Again, I'm Second Lieutenant Nicosia Jones. I actually graduated high school back in 2013. I took a different route when it came to my commission sources. Actually, I ended up enlisting into the Air Force back in 2014, working as a weapons local member in the F-35. March of 2017, I received my appointment into the Air Force Academy. One of the happiest days of my life. In the bottom left, that's a picture of me commissioning into United States Air Force. To my left is Air Force Academy Superintendent, and to my right is one of my very good mentors, my unit commander at the time of my appointment. And on the bottom right picture is a picture of me and my roommate at the time, like right after the Thunderbird flew over at graduation. So I still remember that day. So I'm actually an admissions advisor for the Air Force Academy. This is a 1-year assignment for me. After this, I'll be heading on to pilot training. But for the time being, I'm here to answer any questions and to inspire as many future cadets as I can. So this is the mission statement of the Air Force Academy, which is to educate, train, and inspire men and women to become officers of character, motivated to lead the United States Air and Space Forces in service to our nation. We take this statement very seriously because this is what really our 47 months of training is all about. Becoming the best version of ourselves, not only for ourselves, but also for our nation. So this is a view of the Air Force Academy campus. Is at 7,258 feet above sea level. Is located in Colorado Springs, Colorado. This is the view that you will get every day going and coming from school, pretty much. You can see the chapel. You can see we sometimes do training on plenty of the green areas. The mountain ranges change with the seasons. So whenever we get snow, it's usually spiritually just covered in snow, and it gives her a very special feeling. And I still remember the view, and I always look forward to whenever I can go back and visit again. This is where you will live for your 4 years while at the academy. And also keep in mind, this is not the only stand of the campus itself. The campus is inside of a military base. So the military base itself is about 18,000 acres. So there's plenty of space for you to go hiking, for you to go running, cycling, depending on what you're really into. And I mentioned this is because when COVID began, the fact that a lot of people were restricted out of their homes and they really couldn't do much. Us at the Air Force Academy were able to really go out and explore a lot of nature because of how big our base is and how much space there is for us to really get out there and adventure without having to go into the city. So life as an Air Force Academy cadet, this is a very simplified version of it. And the way I like to explain it is I like to divide it in two, right? So you have freshman year and then you have sophomore year and beyond. So when you look at your freshman year, first thing you notice is every single minute, every single second of your life counts. You're always doing something that is going to make you better for the next day. So starting 6:30 from 7, we have what's called minutes, which is actually like you wake up, you line up in the hallway, you have your uniform inspected, your rooms are inspected, because it is expected of you to have your room to get put together and your bed made for the rest of the day. During that minute, we shared all knowledge. And at the same time, it's not just about training physically, it's also about making you a better person. So sometimes we take advantage of this time to really talk in important topics. Now, whether that be finance, how to take full advantage of all the opportunities that the Air Force has to offer, but just, we talk about different topics that are geared towards making you a better person. So it's all about the whole person concept at the end of the day. And as you can see throughout your day, you have breakfast and you have periods 1 through 4. Something that we're known for is for new information. So every day, Monday to Friday, we actually march to lunch all together. This was looking a little different during COVID. It was split in half, but usually the way it used to go is all 4,000 of us will line up on the terrazzo, which is the picture I show you, and the picture you can see in the background here, and you'll get a chance to march to lunch and then have lunch together. It is a mandatory lunch, so you really get to see and interact with different classes and some of your friends there. And then after lunch, you have periods 5 through 7, followed with training sessions and intramurals. Now, something that I would like to point out is our school periods are kind of like high school, where you don't have a class every single one of them. So sometimes you might have a first period, and then you might have a 4th period, and you're done for the day. So that's plenty of time for you to really get ahead and work on homework, work on projects, or really use that time to reach back home and call family, call friends, and stay connected. And going along with that, we do have training sessions which are meant to challenge you physically, mentally, whether that be a route run, or rifle run, or just anything in that nature. And then followed by training sessions in the rooms. You have dinner and military call to quarters, which is pretty much, if there's any other military events that has to take place, this is when it happens. And then from 2000 to 2300, so 8 p.m. to 11 p.m., you have study, homework, personal time. So again, if you got most of your work done throughout the day, you can use this time to just take time for yourself, reflect, speak to family, and just get ready for the next day. And then now the difference between freshman year and sophomore year and beyond is the amount of training involved. So as you can see to your right, so on the sophomore year schedule, you don't have minutes, which means that you don't have to wake up that early, even though it's highly encouraged for upperclassmen or sophomores and beyond to show up to minutes and be there for our freshman class and make sure that we're mentoring and making them the better version of themselves every day. And then follow through by different slots during the day. So you have periods 1 through 4, new information, and so on. Another thing to keep in mind is as the years progress, as your time at the academy comes closer to an end, you have a lot more responsibilities. At least for me, I was a flight commander one semester, so I was overlooking about 32 other cadets. So even though I have training to do, I did spend a lot of my time mentoring and making sure that all the cadets under my flight were taken care of, and they were dealing with COVID and all these different protocols the best way possible. Which leads me to the next slide. I know some of you might be asking, well, what is the Air Force Academy like during COVID? And yes, this is literally the same slide as before. It was a copy and paste. And the reason I do this is because the Air Force Academy has actually done a very good job at making sure that everything remains as normal, as business as usual. I can tell you from personal experience, I was there when COVID began, and I graduated during COVID, and things didn't really change a lot. We did go from having class in person to completely virtual. We spent a lot of time getting used to the Zoom and Teams dynamic, but we got over that hump. Along with that, another thing that changed for sure is the amount of liberty we had. So before, every after every Friday, we were able to just go off base and hang out with friends, go skiing or go to concerts in Denver and not have to come back to Sunday. Well, that changed a lot because of COVID protocols. There were weekends where we couldn't really go off base because of how high the numbers were within Colorado Springs in the nearby area. So, and this is where living in the 18,000 acre property came in handy. We were still able to get out there, stay active, or just really go for long walks and take that time to really decompress and come back ready for the next week. So if you have any more questions specific to what is the Academy like currently, I'd be more than happy to answer that as time goes by. So again, this is some of the pictures. This is how we make the Academy our home. On the left side, you can see a picture of on-the-wall hallways. That was leading to one of our major holidays towards the end of the year. That's kind of how we kept the spirits up. That was actually my freshman year. We had to take it down the next morning, but we had a good time just being able to enjoy that all the lights up for one night. And then in the bottom right, I have a picture of one of our dining tables for our Christmas party. It happens every year during December. It's every incoming freshman class is tasked with organizing that table, and then upperclassmen, we all just fund whatever it takes to buy the items. But as you can see, even though you're far away from home, you're not really far away from home. The Air Force Academy becomes your new home, your new family, so you get used to it pretty fast. And on the top right picture, you kind of see we get these every day. It shows us the different meals we're going to be getting, how our day is going to be break down, what time is new information, uniform requirements, as well as what's for dinner, which is very important sometimes when you have had a long day. So what separates the Air Force Academy from the other service academy is our emphasis and the amount of time we spend in airmanship programs. The Air Force Academy is the only place in the world where you can have your first jump out of a plane or parachuting by yourself. You actually get very well trained on to do that. You also get a chance to be part of different clubs, like the Cyber Club, the UAV Club, as well as the Astronautical Engineering Club, which they currently have a satellite up in space. They get together every day to track the location of that particular satellite. So for those of you who are highly interested in the Space Force after graduating from the Air Force Academy, this is a really good way of staying in touch with what you really want to do. And not only that, you get to know active duty officers who are actually very knowledgeable in that field, as well as other friends. You get to make friends who also have that kind of passion. So you kind of just build that network of people you can rely on and really get to know. And last but not least, on the bottom left portion, you can see one of our gliders, which again is another one of our airmanship programs where you get to, as a freshman year, you get to get 5 flights in it. You get to get a feel for aviation. And if you think that's what you want to do, the very next summer, you get to actually spend 3 weeks flying gliders with an instructor in the back. And if there's something that you're very passionate about, you have the potential to become an instructor. The same way with our jump program. All of our jump instructors, most of our jump instructors are cadets. So that's pretty crazy to think about. And then cadets teaching cadets, and it's been one of the most successful programs there is at the Air Force Academy. And if this wasn't enough, in the next slide, I'll show you a little bit about some of the experiences that I've had throughout my 4 years at the Air Force Academy. So as you can see, I've always been very passionate about aviation. I knew I wanted to be a pilot going into the Academy. So being able to get incentivized on the F-16, in the back of an F-16, be able to ride in the back of a C-130 in Arizona and really see what the mission is all about. And not only that, being able to jump out of a plane 5 times with some of my best friends and live to tell the story is definitely mark a very, very, very memorable moment in my life. And the one thing that really sealed the deal was on the bottom right picture. That's one of our airmanship programs. It's actually called Power Flight, where you get 5 flights, about an hour long, and then you get about an hour pre-brief and debrief. And I had a chance to fly with my instructor. We went up to Denver, we're down to the Royal Gorge. We really got a chance to really fly all over the Colorado area. Did about 30 landings in different places. And so you really get a good feel of what aviation is like and whether it's for you or not. And for me, it's just one of those programs that just sealed the deal. So after that, I knew I wanted to fly and knew that's what I want to do. And I was lucky enough that the Air Force Academy picked me up for the Air Force picked me up for a pilot slot. So again, the Air Force has around 35 different careers you can pick from. About 50% of the class is selected to be pilots. About 10% of the class goes into the Space Force. So yes, we are also a commissioning source for the Space Force, for those of you interested in it. We all about the 10% of the class gets to go to grad school, whether that be law school, medical school, dental school, public school, policy school, or any other sort of program based off your major in your specific department. And again, for those of you interested in the Space Force, this is some of the opportunities that you get to pick from after graduation. I know like a pretty popular one is space operations, and you also have acquisitions, cyber intelligence, as well as engineering. Again, the Air Force Academy is pretty heavy in STEM, so you're guaranteed if you follow through, you major in a STEM major, and you decide to become part of the engineering team, you have a very high chance of participating in it. Again, like these are some of the benefits that we offer: no tuition costs, no room and board, guaranteed career, monthly stipend, and medical and dental coverage. And then again, there's plenty to do nearby. An hour north of the Air Force Academy, you have Denver. About 20 minutes south, you have Colorado Springs downtown. You have skiing resorts nearby. So with the monthly allowance that you make and the group of friends you have, there's nothing that can really stop you from going out there and being able to enjoy the city while as well continue furthering your education at the Air Force Academy. So how do you get started? You go into academyadmissions.com and you kind of just go from there and follow all the steps. And then again, my contact information is right here below. If you'd like to take a picture of it, I can also drop in the chat. Again, I'm working for Region 1, so I'm actually based out of Austin Hill, Maryland. So I'm within driving distance of pretty much Virginia, Maryland, and the DC area. So once again, thank you.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant. Now we're going to have Commander Wheeler, and we're going to have Midshipman Cummings, who we actually nominated last year, and this is his first year at the Merchant Marine Academy. Here you go, Commander.
Can I be heard? You hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Lieutenant Commander Wheeler here, and I have with me first year student Irvin Cummings from Newport News. I just want to concentrate on the differences between the Merchant Marine Academy and the DoD schools and even the Coast Guard Academy. And there's 3 key points where we are greatly different. One is you're going to have a choice when you come to the Merchant Marine Academy. That choice meaning if you don't want to go in the active duty military, you don't have to. If your alternative is to go into the maritime business in some aspect, work on a ship, a port, a harbor, those kind of activities. Historically, 2/3 of our graduates every year do go into that career field. The money's pretty lucrative if you get the right kind of jobs. You also are going to determine who your employer is, where you want to live. I was with the Air Force for 32 years, and I think only one time did I get to go where I wanted to go. So sometimes that's a little more up people's alley when they have more say-so. So you do have a choice. If you do decide to go in the military, you can choose any branch of the service, and it's a direct commission, just as if you'd graduated from one of the academies. You just proceed on to your next training, whether or not it's surface warfare officer school, pilot training, etc. So that's a unique aspect of the school. Another unique aspect of the school is that one entire academic year, which equates to about 10 months, is spent at sea actually working on a variety of ships. They could be aircraft carriers, they could be active duty destroyers, they could be oil tankers, container ships, tugboats, a whole variety. And you're also traveling around the world. So as an 18, 19-year-old, you get to travel around the world, see 14, 15, 16 different countries before you're even 20 years old. So that's a very unique thing to this school. Even the other private and public maritime schools don't offer that. Another aspect is that you are going to be very marketable when you finish your school year. You're also going to earn a Coast Guard that is unlimited, which is a master's Coast Guard license. It's a requirement for graduation, and you must pass it. I want to let first year student Irvin Cummings say a few words about his first couple of months here, and then we'll pass it on. We'll try to get us back on schedule.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to thank Congressman McEachin for giving me this opportunity. My first couple months here has been a lot better than what I expected. First 2 weeks, I came here to the Academy July 9th with day 0, started in INDOC, and it's sort of like a mini boot camp type deal. It's just for our upperclassmen to instill discipline within the first class and my class, and just try to show them the ropes of like the Academy and what is expected when you're over here. We do have a lot of clubs. Everything is we have a lot of clubs on the water.
Sorry.
Just,
It's all right. Thank you, and we'll pass it on to the next person.
All right, thank you so much, Commander and Midshipman Cummings. So our next panelist is Lieutenant JG Daryl Thomas for United States Coast Guard Academy.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Great. So there isn't much of a difference between the academies and the Coast Guard Academy. I will boot up my PowerPoint here, and then we'll be good to go. A lot of what we do has already been covered because we are very similar to the other academies. One of the biggest distinctions between us and the other academies, however, is that we are not under DOD, first and foremost. And secondly, we do not require a congressional nomination at all. Unfortunately, my slide isn't working. We don't require a congressional nomination at all. So we appreciate being invited to these events because a congressional nomination is not required for acceptance to the Coast Guard Academy. However, we do, if you are accepted, if you are given an acceptance by a congressional office, you can use that acceptance letter as part of your application as a letter of recommendation. We have waived we've made it optional. The ACT, SAT is optional. However, we do request that in that block where you put your score, you explain why you are not presenting an ACT, SAT requirement, ACT, SAT score. We are located in New London, Connecticut. We're about an hour and a half from Boston, probably close to 3 hours from New York. So we are centrally located. Most of us, except for the Air Force Academy, are on the Northeast, in the Northeast corridor anyway. We are largely a STEM school. So when you graduate, you will have a Bachelor of Science degree, no matter what you major in, whether you major in government or management, you will have a Bachelor of Science degree. Unlike the other academies, we do not have a large number of majors to choose from. Civil engineering, mechanical engineering, nautical engineering, government major, management major. Cyber is our newest one, so you can major in cybersecurity. That's our newest one. If you major in cyber, as of right now, that this obviously could change in the next 3 or 4 years, but right now, if you major in cyber, there's a good 90% chance you're going to be behind a computer screen at a Coast Guard Academy or at a Coast Guard unit or somewhere else in the government working with cyber, because that's our newest major and we're getting into that realm more heavily. We are one of the 5 branches. We used to be the smallest branch, but now with the Space Force, we are the second smallest branch of all branches of the military. We are under the Department of Homeland Security, not the Department of DOD, which plays a part in why we don't require a congressional nomination. The reason for that is because the Coast Guard is the only branch of the military that is both military and federal law enforcement at the same time. So that's what makes us very, very unique. 4 years, like all the benefits of the other academies have mentioned, we have the exact same benefits. One of the biggest distinctions with us are the physical fitness requirements. For our physical fitness requirement, the PFE, the physical fitness exam is what we call it. It's 1.5 mile run, push-up, and sit-ups. We don't require pull-ups at all. The add-on to that is not a part of the PFE, but we strongly encourage every applicant or potential applicant to do it, and that is get in a pool and start swimming. Every coastie is a swimmer. You have to be a strong swimmer. You can have the grades, you can do everything else perfectly well on the rest of the PFE. If you do not pass the swim, you will not finish at the academy. You have to be a strong swimmer. So if you're not in a pool now, if you're not comfortable in water, please get in a pool, become a stronger swimmer, because that is a requirement. Once you graduate from the academy, you'll have range of what you want to do. The only exception, like I said, for right now is cyber. It's a pretty good chance you're going to be in the cyber realm. But if you major in civil engineering, there's no guarantee. You can choose something that has nothing to do with civil engineering. We have a litany of jobs that translate very well into the civilian sector once you decide to get out. We have a well over an 80% retention rate, which means after the 5-year commitment, at least 80% of all of our academy grads choose to stay in the Coast Guard and continue their career. That's the biggest thing that separates us from the other academies. And like I said, we appreciate being invited to these congressional events, even though we don't require a congressional nomination. We are happy to introduce ourselves to everyone potentially applying for a congressional nomination. So please consider the Coast Guard, consider us as an option. Like I said, while we don't require a nomination, if you are given an acceptance letter from your congressperson, you can use that in our application package as a letter of recommendation. Also, everything we do is electronic now. If you go to our website, uscga.edu, and you go to admissions, everything you need is there. Your application is fully electronic. We will accept things mailed into us, but we strongly discourage it, because by the time it gets to someone who can process it and put it in your file, you might miss the deadline. So please adhere to the electronic process and adhere to all the dates that are listed on our website. We've made it extremely seamless as possible, and we're working on making the application, making it so you can apply via mobile, so you have mobility as you're going through the application process. You can use your tablet, desktop, or phone. So that's the Coast Guard in a nutshell. We are here. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, thank you for the opportunity to introduce ourselves to you, and we look forward to seeing your application soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant Thomas. As you can see, every academy has something to offer you in the experiences with the common goal of serving. Again, this is a very competitive process with an emphasis on STEM, and the academies look at the whole person when selecting. Again, our deadline is October 1st for the 7th Congressional District and the 29th of October for the 4th Congressional District. Please reach out to me at 757-942-6050 or 757-409-0594 for any questions that you have concerning this process. Again, thank you to all of our panelists who have volunteered their time and their experiences that they had when attending. And again, thank you again for attending today's Service Academy Day. We are excited for you to hopefully become one of our nation's great next leaders. As a reminder, please visit our websites at McEachin.house.gov and Spanberger.house.gov to find additional information about the service academies and the application process. Thank you, and all of you have a wonderful weekend.